Thank you very much, Ciara, and thank you, Minister. You're very welcome to the House. I reflect on this opportunity to speak here today on the mother and baby homes as a sincere honour and a great responsibility. What the state, the country, the church and our people did to these women and babies was disgusting, was wrong, and I am ashamed that this is our nation's story and how it treated women, girls and children. It is incredible to think that we as a nation were so cruel to the most vulnerable and abused that vulnerability in ways that are so depraved that should make us all completely ashamed. Think of the numbers. The commission that was established under the Commissions of Investigation Act 2004 has examined records of over 70,000 mothers and a greater number of children in 18 different institutions across our country. Between the years of 1922 and 1998, women were subjected to forced labour, psychological or physical torture, ill treatment, denial of education to children, sexual assault and many other forms of abuse. This is sometimes described as historical abuse. But the 90s, when the last laundry was shut, is certainly not historical. This is our modern Ireland, a modern Ireland that was a member of the European Union, a member of the United Nations. This is our present, and these women and the children who were interned in these mother and baby homes deserve respect, care, understanding, support, dignity and just a break. They have been fighting for survival, fighting to live, fighting to be heard, fighting for respect and had to fight for an apology. This is not our history, it's our citizens' present stories. They are not artefacts and they are just people. In the Magdalen laundries, girls as young as 9 and women were locked away, forced into penal servitude for a variety of spurious reasons. The institution solved a problem, avoided shame in society. The irony of this. Our people, our state, our church, our schools, everyone turned a blind eye, closed their doors, closed their minds to that girl who was in trouble or difficult to deal with. They were dealt with, they were put away. To speak directly and specifically on the bill before us here today, there has been a lot of discussion about the remit of this bill and the reasons why it has to be fast-tracked through. The proposed bill deals with serious legal and practical issues raised by the Commission in relation to finalising its records. Without the important changes contained within this bill, the Commission is obliged to redact sensitive personal information before depositing its records. The Commission was established under the 2004 Commissions of Investigations Act, and under that 2004 Act, investigations are held in private. That confidentiality applies to the evidence and records gathered by the inquiry. Earlier this year, the Commission informed the Department of Children that it had created a database tracking who was in the main mother and baby homes, but did not feel it had legal basis to transfer that database, and that would be compelled by law to redact the valuable information contained within it. This bill ensures the records of the Commission are deposited with the Minister or with the Child and Family Agency without redaction. Most significantly, the bill provides the transfer of specified databases and records relating to the former residents of the institutions being examined by the Commission to TUSLA. The database contains information relating to the mothers and children who were resident in 11 out of the 18 institutions being investigated by the Commission. Into the future, a database of this nature, as you discussed, Minister, is undoubtedly required to support the statutory information and tracing service for individuals who resided in these institutions and have fundamental questions about their identity on their time in these institutions. The complex and constitutional legal issues which arise in the area would require further legislation. And the Minister has stated and he is committed to separately advancing this robust information and tracing legislation to provide the enhanced statutory framework for the release of birth and early life information. You have our full support on that, Minister. We have received thousands of emails, Minister, and I'm sure you have too. The sealing of documents, which is not part of the bill specifically, has become the main talking point of this bill. However, it is a very important matter and needs to be discussed here this morning. Your intentions regarding this 30-year ceiling needs to be questioned. It's worth noting that everyone must acknowledge that the oral witness statements of the Commission will be printed without personal details in the report when it's published also. And I understand the 30-year rule cannot be amended blankly in the 2004 Act, as it would possibly change the legal framework and the remit for other commissions of inquiry established under the Act. And I absolutely know that 30-year locking up of testimony is too far for too many people. They do not have 30 years. They have had a lifetime of torment, and if their lives be helped or healed in any way whatsoever, we must act. We must act immediately to set out in a review of how these stories of the women in the database can be public record for those who wish it to be public record. And I absolutely understand not all the women want their names in public. I spoke to Dr. Maeve O'Rourke from NUI this morning, who is one of many tireless campaigners for these women and children. And I hope, Minister, that you could consider three things: to keep a copy of the entire Commission archive yourself in the department, facilitate personal access requests to the archive when you receive it, publish appropriately anonymised index to the archive in a timely manner after the department receives it, so that debate and consultation can be facilitated and further unsealing of the Commission's archives, and the future creation of a dedicated archive of historical abuse records on what it might contain, and how, where it could be established. This country needs to accept its horrendous past, face it head on, establish a dedicated archive in Sean McDermott Street, where we as a country can see the cruelty of what we did to women and these precious little children that we neglected. A monument to honour all of these lives, to honour the stories, to face the truth, to respect our women and children. And lastly, again, Minister, I urge you to review my request of these amendments, if not in this bill, but in the weeks and months ahead, because it is really important that these women who want their stories, who want their lives clear to us all, to our children, so our children will know what our state and what our people did to these women. I absolutely fundamentally believe that these women deserve a break and deserve a chance to have their stories and some sort of healing. And if this state and if you, Minister, can give any bit of healing to these women, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.